Welcome to Amicast, podcast about Amiga computers. I'm your host, Krzysztof Radzikowski, but call me Krzysztof or Radzik.
Well, what a coincidence. 811. 811. Okay. Very good. So let's start at 817 921 873 947 733. Come on. Okay, guys. Anyone remember a point? Again, Dutch, States, 87, Amiga probably. A couple more guys. They autographed this one. So, collector's item, everyone, yeah? Check eBay tomorrow, collect it. And you are going to win. You will, the number will be the proud owner is 868. 868. 868. You throw these things away or what do you do? 868. Sorry, Jane, there you go. Not a staple, it's easy. Okay, now I've got a PC version of Moonchild. Also again by the guys in my boy. Great game. 864. Autograph. People, 864. Yay! Where are you from? Italy. eBay.it. Here. Okay, Trevor. You're on. I think the man who flew the furthest, all of us. But is looking the most stretched. You weren't with us last night. That kind of helps. Yeah. So you need that thing. Plug it in. Have you seen his shoes, by the way? Wow! Number. Yeah. Anyone got a laptop spare? Dan, ready? You got Apple. Little pause here. So is there anything you need? Is there anything you're missing here we can help you with? Boy and girls. Free beer. Can be arranged for a certain amount of money. And they got great beers. Let's try them all. I'm going to do a number. 817, still here. Number 817. I got to pick another one. Come on. I have to get rid of this. 817. 741. 741. Yeah, we got 741. Congratulations. Don't put it on me. You can't win anything else. Look at that. The Ferrari. 868, no one, 868. 8. Wheat sees wheat. 868. 901. Someone got 901? 901? 901. 901. Don't be shy. Come on. The proof, yeah. Congratulations. You're a great catch. These guys. 921, socks. 921, no. Very sorry. Should have been here. Another one. 858. 858. 858. No. Let's see. Still no suggestions. 998. 998. Yeah, you can shout. No, 858. What was that? What was that? Congratulations. Enjoy it. So 998 is number 998. You gotta be quick. Let's go. 998. No 998. You still don't know that. 702. 702. 702. 873. 824. 824. Do I get paid for these guys? This is like work. Yeah, 717. This is elderly bingo. 717, come on. Oh my God. Any French people? Where were the French people? Everybody want a prize? Yes? No. What number you got? They think French. What number do you get? 931. What's it? 727. Are you ready? I got more numbers to go out there. Please stop. Okay. You got a microphone?
Hi, can everyone hear me? Hi, right. I'm Trevor Dickinson, and I have to admit straight away, I am an Amiga-holic, so I apologise. I'm pleased to see people like David Pleasance and RJ and Carl here today with grey hair, because when I got my first Amiga, I had black hair. So that's someone reminded me. So it's nice to see some people growing old, because everyone here looks quite young compared to me. So great. So we're here really to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Amiga computer. That's why we're here. That's why we come together to celebrate. And looking around the room, I see younger people. So I'm thinking maybe in 30 years' time there'll still be Amigas around running Amigas of some sort or other. So that's really good news. So if I start off with a very short presentation, if I can find where I put that controller. Okay. Right, why are we here today? We're here to celebrate the Amiga. Its 30th anniversary. Not its 3rd anniversary, as it's saying in the corner, because it's cut off. And we're here to celebrate the computer that was launched in 1985, the Lincoln Center in New York City, with such pomp and flair. We had the king of American pop art. We had the top female singer from the band Blondie. I love Blondie. And the Amiga was launched in the world. What did it do? It had groundbreaking design that changed the face of computing. It had a custom chipset that freed up the CPU. It had a preemptive multitasking operating system that for many years was still much better than anything was out there. And a very small footprint. And an elegantly simple GUI, which I still think is one of the best GUIs out there. And it introduced the world to multimedia concept. And today, all modern computers are really based on that same philosophy, if not the same hardware. Now we know as Amigans, after the death of Commodore, and we've got ex-Commodore joint managing director of Commodore UK here, you can tell us more about that. But after the death of Commodore, the Amiga went through a number of transitions, and I could have put 30 or 40 more companies on this list of software. But just to name a few ones, obviously Amiga Technologies, and Petros here, so tell us about that. Gateway, the Gateway years, oh dear. Powered by Amiga, another one that Petra was involved in. The rise of Eros, an Amiga replacement operating system, as it was originally called. Emulation with the Amiga Forever. We've had Michael here today talking about emulation. It started way back in 97, I think. Could be wrong. We had next generation operating systems coming out. And these were going to be the new PowerPC operating systems that would drive the Amigas of the future. And so we had MorphOS, the first one to take up the challenge. This was followed by Gateway not building the computer they're going to build and shutting down the business and selling it to Bill McHugh and Fleecy Moss. And then we had Amino, which became Amiga30. We won't say any more about that. We have Hyperion, iTech, and Amiga OS. And we all know what happened after that. We know about cases and everything else. But I think it's really interesting to say that it's amazing that after all of that trial and tribulation since the death of Commodore, that we're all still here today celebrating the 30th anniversary of Amiga. It's pretty amazing, really. So, what am I doing here? I got my first, actually, I'm a little older than most of you, so I got my first computer. It was a Commodore PET 4032. I was going to build the ZX80, but I decided Commodore PET was better. And I didn't choose an Apple. I could have chosen an Apple, but I got a Commodore PET. So then I went Commodore 64 after seeing international soccer playing in a computer store. I just had to have it. So unfortunately, in those days, I couldn't afford to keep my PET and the 64, so I traded in my PET and got Commodore 64, Commodore 128, Commodore 128D. You see a trend here? And then I moved to the States, and I was working in Texas. And my 128 got blown up, power surge through a thunderstorm, and on my insurance certificate it said Acts of God. I thought that's pretty good, an act of God. So I bought an Amiga 2000, and that's how I got into Amigas. So in 1988, I got my first Amiga 2000. Then the 3000, then the 4000, a 4000 Tower, and I wanted an Amiga 5000. But it's back then, now, so you can buy them. So, anyway. So, who? I formed a company, I jointly founded a company called Aeon Technology, and we are just Amiga enthusiasts. My co-founder, Matthew Lehman, cut his teeth on Amiga 1200, he's a lot younger than me. So we have a grounding in Amiga computers, in Commodore computers. Our first product was the Amiga 1X 1000, which was released our first product was the X1000. We're interested in all forms of Amiga, and any form that Amiga takes. I'm not one for all this fighting and bitching and moaning about this, that, the other. We're a small enough group of people, we should all work together for the benefit of the community that still exists. And let's grow the community, because I want to be around in 30 years' time. I won't be, but I hope the community is. So, we released the X1000, we launched it at the Vintage Computer Festival in 2010. These are the Freedom Twins. They're contract developers who work for Hyperion Entertainment. And I think one of them might be at the show today, but I don't see him around yet. And so this was launched at VCF. It was hanging together with chewing gum and string. 24 hours before the show, it wasn't working. So I turned up the show thinking that, oh my goodness, I spent all this money, all this stuff, people are coming to the show and it's not going to work. And just these things happen. About 8 o'clock the night before, they got to boot to workbench, they got on the Channel Tunnel, Eurostar, came to the UK, brought their boards, put it into a case that we had ready for them, booted it up, and it just about worked. Yeah, it's very buggy, but over that next 6 months to a year, we improved. The beta test boards were actually released in the summer of 2011, and by the end of 2011, we had the first contact systems machine. And we've had very few returns in terms of repairs. It's proved a very reliable piece of hardware. And the software has improved, the drives have improved over the time. So there's an Amiga 1X1000 running Amiga OS 4.1. Unlike running Amiga OS under emulation, sorry Michael, it's not the same. Whether it's classic Amiga or next-gen Amiga, it doesn't feel like Amiga, it feels like you're running on alien hardware. Running on the real hardware, for me, is the only way to go. Apart from running OS 4.1, final edition now, it supports about 15 PowerPC Linux distributions, where you can have a Ubuntu Live remix DVD, so you can just put the CD in the drive and run Linux from the DVD. Works very well. In 2012, we did a proof of concept design with our developers, our hardware developers, and that's they were viruses, they're now ultra viruses. The Amiga 1X1000 built on PA-Semi CPUs. Apple bought PA-Semi, shut down the production line, and you know the rest. So this time we decided we wanted to select a PowerPC CPU manufacturer that had a long-term plan for supporting their products. So we chose Freescale, and we designed this little board as a test to see whether or not we could produce a good PowerPC motherboard for the Amiga OS. Primarily the Amiga OS because that was our market. In 2012, let's show that 12-13, we signed for the Amiga community, for a modern Amiga community, a massive $1.2 million development and hardware development program with ultraviruses to design 3 new Amigas based on the Freescale Core IQ. I should say Amiga 1s, be very careful with licensing. The license for the Amiga 1, not the Amiga. Amiga can't even use the Amiga name with a computer, so it's all very crazy. All part of this mismatch of what happened after the death of Cold War. So we were planning 3 models. One based on the P3041, quad-core 32-bit. One based on the P5020, 2 gigahertz, 64-bit dual-core, and a third based on a P5040, 2.4 gigahertz at the time, and 64-bit quad-core. Freescale has since brought out the 5040 as a quad-core 2.2 gigahertz. We launched a Cirrus Plus, that's what the board's called, 5020 board, Cirrus Plus. And they've shipped to beta testers in 2014. You'll see one operating at the back there. Dennis is one of the beta testers. He's had his board for how long, Dennis? 4 months? Yeah. So we're planning at the moment to launch the first contact systems, which will keep with the space theme, we call it Close Encounters. So Close Encounters, we're planning to launch that in September. So the first commercial systems. Again, as it's the first commercial systems, it will come with a minimal viable operating system that goes with it. This is an Amiga 1X1000, called designated 20 because it's 5020, and it's running a beta version of Amiga OS 4 final edition. The Morphos developers are also working with the Cyrus boards, and they've recently, a German show showed a very early beta version running MorphOS on the 5020, so on the Cyrus Plus. So we're very, very happy they're working on that. And I would like to see AROS running on hardware as well. I'd like to see every operating system that's Amiga like running on hardware we produce. Then people can choose what they want. We've already got a fairly stable PowerPC Linux distribution running on the Cyrus Plus. And we received a 5040 prototype in the first quarter of this year. So now we have a 5040 as well. That's 2.2 gigahertz quad-core. All this, dual-core, quad-core is great, but we need Amiga OS, AROS, MorphOS supported. Fortunately, Linux supports already, so you want to play with Linux and see all these cores running and see the traces, right, you can do it. But they really need to be on our operating systems and not on its Linux. We got the first production boards in for the, believe it or not, they are production boards for the 5020 and the Cyrus Plus, and they're the ones that started shipping in September. So what are we doing now? Over the last 12 months, we believe that for the Amiga OS, OS, AROS that we have at the moment, we need more content. I said that at AmiWest last year, if anyone saw my AmiWest talk, we need more software content. We need to encourage more developers to create more content for our hardware. So for the last 12 months, we've been acquiring classic Amiga titles to redevelop them, like the source code, like Personal Paint from Michael Clarendon, and we've already released a new version for Classic and for Amiga OS 4. Image FX, one of my favourites on Amiga Classic, Aladdin 4D, and more recently Octamed, TuneNet, DD Player, and Ringio. And expect more. This is not the end. We're developing new software utilities for our hardware, Multiviewer, Workbench Handy, Walk 3D, various other software utilities and titles. We are trying to make sure that anything we do can be backported to some extent to the Classic, and we'd like to see them running on the other Amiga-like operating systems as well. We've been sponsoring major software porting projects. None of them have come to fruition yet, but we'll continue to do that. And we will continue to support Amiga OS and all Amiga OS inspired software developers. It's important for the future of the Amiga if we want to see the Amiga continue. Matthew released an app store. He's the developer of it. It's an app store that actually runs on your Amiga. There is actually a classic version which he hasn't released yet, but it runs on at the moment under OS 4 and under the Classic. We'd like to see it on North OS and AROS. A few little secrets. I'm not going to tell you many secrets today. We cancelled the Cyrus Plus project based on the 3401. We couldn't find a price differential between the 3401 and the 5020. It didn't make much sense. So instead, we replaced that with 2 new contracts with RSS for 2 new products. That's what I'm going to say at this point. We're working on more prototype software and utilities and games for Amiga OS and next generation Amiga OS and Amiga OS operating systems. So that's what we're focusing on this. And we want to see multi-operating system support, and that's what we're working towards. But the reason we're here really is the Amiga. So I want to say happy birthday, Amiga. 30 years old next month. Next month? This month, next month. Here's to the next 30 years. I hope most of you are here to see it. Thank you very much. I think I might have a couple of minutes for questions, I'm not sure. Yeah? Anyone like to ask a question? Stand in silence. Oh, that's it. It's fantastic, isn't that? Actually, the real man to ask is Michael. Michael's an expert on intellectual property, unique intellectual property. There he is there. What was the context of the question?
It seems like a big mess. Which companies are which part of the...
Well, it's actually quite simple to a certain extent, right? The simple thing is, when you go through, it's not simple, right? That's the first thing, it's not simple. and the people have devoted their lives to following the ins and outs of the Amiga intellectual property. But one of the simplest ways of saying it is Amiga Inc., which was the company that came out of Amiga, which acquired the Amiga rights from Gateway. They still own the rights to the Amiga name and the Amiga OS. And certain other trademarks haven't expired. But they, under the terms of a settlement agreement with Hyperion Entertainment. They can't use the Amiga OS on a computer, and they can't use Amiga OS 4, which was developed as in a tripartite agreement with iTech, Amiga Inc. and Hyperion. So Hyperion are the official license holder of the Amiga OS. They add the Amiga OS software and Boeing and Amiga 1. Aeon Technology has sub-licensed that as a perpetual royalty-free sub-license for all those things from Hyperion. So we can put that on our hardware. The other issue is, of course, redone. It's complex. You can't use the Amiga name because the license for the Amiga 1 name. Amiga, we've got the Amiga 1 Amiga name, can't use it on the computer. So it's messed up. Now there are a lot more complex issues than that. That's the simple thing. And if you want the details, speak to Michael, because he'll tell you about all the other little licenses that Amiga Technologies possibly granted to various people, and there's a whole bunch of people that have certain rights under those agreements.
Listen. Thank you. Let's take one.
One more question? No? Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Mr. David Pleasant.
For now.
But I'm not sure if it will be very pleasant.